Behind his calm smile and relaxed demeanor, Taehyung is apparently hiding something big. He secretly traveled to Los Angeles without announcement, without cameras, and without a single official post. But now, the secret is starting to be revealed not by the media, not by management, but by someone closest to him, Jungkook. Recently, in a live broadcast that initially seemed casual, Jungkook made a surprising statement that stunned armies around the world. With a slightly serious face and a different tone of voice than usual, Jungkook said, "I can't keep quiet about this anymore." For the past few weeks, the public had known that Taehyung was in Los Angeles, but there had been no media activity, no collaboration announcements, not even an official schedule. There had only been speculation until Jungkook decided to lift the lid a little. Taehyung is doing something very important to himself, something he's keeping to himself. But I think you guys deserve to know, Jungkook said, looking into the camera as if conveying a hidden message. Since Jungkook's statement, fans have been digging for clues. Some fanbase accounts have gathered information that Taehyung was spotted at an art studio in LA, while other rumors suggest he met with a prominent film star. Was this a visual project, a solo album, or something more personal? Even more surprising, a few hours after the live, Taehyung posted a black and white photo of an empty chair in the middle of a dark room, with the caption, "Silence speaks when words can't." ARMY was in an uproar. Was this an emotional expression of something he was going through? Was this a sign that he would reveal a side of himself that had been hidden for so long? It's undeniable that Jungkook and Taehyung share a very strong bond, more than just bandmates. So when Jungkook said he couldn't stay silent anymore, fans felt this wasn't just a project leak, but a sign of deep concern for Taehyung. Perhaps Jungkook knew that what Taehyung was doing was difficult, or even deeply meaningful. And by sharing this piece of information, Jungkook was signaling to the world, please wait and understand him. This isn't something that can be conveyed easily. As of now, there has been no confirmation from Big Hit or Taehyung himself. However, one thing is clear. Something big is brewing, whether it's an art project, a personal reflection, or even a process of emotional healing. What's certain is that this isn't just about music. It's about honesty, courage, and perhaps the pain that ultimately becomes a work of art. After Jungkook's shocking statement and Taehyung's mysterious post, fans' curiosity turned into obsession. Discussion forums were filled with theories. Some suspected it was a deeply personal solo comeback, while others were convinced it was more than just music. It was an expression of a soul that had been buried for so long. Behind his calm smile and easygoing demeanor, Taehyung was hiding something big. He had secretly traveled to Los Angeles without announcement, without cameras, and without a single official post. But now, that secret was starting to be revealed not by the media, not by management, but by someone closest to him, Jungkook. It wasn't without reason that Jungkook finally spoke up. That night, the air felt heavy even in the luxurious and quiet hotel room. He sat on the edge of the bed, his hands trembling even though he wasn't holding anything. Hundreds of thousands of fans stared at their screens, waiting, hoping, wondering. "I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking like this," he said quietly, "but I felt I had to, not because I wanted attention, but because the person I love is being misunderstood." He took a deep breath. Then the words came out. He left because he felt like he was drowning. Before Taehyung flew to LA, Jungkook remembered everything clearly. It was a light rain that day, and the practice studio felt empty even though the music was still playing. Taehyung sat leaning against the wooden floor, his head bowed, his hand clutching a water bottle. Jungkook approached him. "Hyung, what's wrong with you?" Taehyung just shrugged, then said, "Sometimes I feel like my life isn't mine." Silence. "My every move is recorded. My every smile is judged. Every little thing I do is considered big." but sometimes I just want to daydream in the park without the hours counting. It wasn't the first time Jungkook had heard such complaints from Taehyung, but that night felt different, deeper, darker. He was already at the airport. He was carrying just one suitcase, a tattered hoodie, and a black hat covering his face. Jungkook was the first to know, even before management did. I just want to go away for a while, to feel like a normal human being, he texted that night. In LA, Taehyung isn't a celebrity. He's an anonymous visitor at an art cafe, a student learning to paint from a street artist, a stranger smiling at a busker without anyone shouting, "Viapa." Every morning, he strolls the city's outskirts, savoring the aroma of coffee and jotting down notes in the small, black leather journal he's carried since 2020. He scribbles, draws, and writes poetry about the little things: falling leaves, a child laughing, the reflection of light on a window pane. But there are also dark pages. Why do I have to keep being someone else to be loved? What would happen if they knew the real Taehyung? Will they still embrace me when I don't shine? Taehyung secretly married. Every speculation was like a needle stabbing Jungkook one by one. He knew it was all a lie, but he also knew silence could hurt more than words. He's not running away. He's saving himself, Jungkook said in his live broadcast. If you love him, let him heal. He's not a god. He's my friend, and he's human. She's not running away. She's saving herself, Jungkook said during his live broadcast. If you love her, let her heal. She's not a god. She's my friend, and she's human. He stared at the screen quietly, as if speaking not only to millions of viewers, but also to himself. The atmosphere around him was silent, only the sound of his breathing audible between the pauses. There are things that can't be healed with time alone, but also with understanding. She chose to leave not because she gave up, but because she wanted to live. And I think that's a courage not everyone has. Jungkook's hands clutched the bottom of his sweater, gripping it tightly. We often forget that people who always smile in front of the camera can also be broken behind the scenes. We're too busy asking her to be strong that we forget to ask, "Are you okay?" He took a deep breath, trying to calm the turmoil in his chest. She didn't ask to be understood, but if you truly love her, at least don't hurt her further. Then his voice softened. Wait for her, patiently, with an open heart. Don't force him to come back just because you miss him. Forced longing can be another form of pain. Jungkook ended his broadcast with a faint, meaningful smile. I believe he will come back, but this time, let him come home because he wants to, not because he has to. Seconds after the broadcast ended, the comments continued to pour in. Some cried, some remained silent, and some simply left heart emojis. But everyone knew that night, something had changed. Not just about her absence, but about how they chose to love her. In another room, away from the spotlight, someone sat silently. She stared at her phone screen, rewatching the broadcast. Jungkook's words pierced through the walls she'd so desperately built. Her eyes were red, not from sadness alone, but because someone finally spoke for her, without blaming, without demanding, just understanding. She slowly put down her phone and covered her face with both hands. The tears finally came, the tears she'd been holding back for so long, the tears that saved her. And amidst those sobs, one thing resurfaced: the desire to live, not to be perfect, not to live up to expectations, but to be herself, even if slowly, even if still shaky. Tomorrow might not be bright, but tonight, at least she knew, she wasn't alone. Across the street, Jungkook sat alone on the dorm balcony, staring out at the dark sky. The cold enveloped him, but a warmth welled up in his chest. He knew his best friend was struggling, and he would continue to wait patiently, silently, with sincere love.